Hey, thank you so much for speaking with me.
You're welcome. How's it going in New Mexico?
It's going well, our day-to-day is not too different than pre-corona because you've been here. It's pretty desolate. There's not much to do. So yeah, it is what it is. The times are hard for all of us.
Yeah. And I'm sure you're busy. Are you making lots of work right now?
I strangely am. I feel really, I'm about to start my third trimester and I'm kind of trying to get a lot of work done before my belly gets so big that I can't even walk. So I'm sort of forcing myself to be maybe busier than I want to be, almost like I want to make a lot of work so that when I can't make work, I have work available, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I know. I wish I had more of a stockpile. I got a few things made before the curtain of Corona came down.
Okay.
But so I'm on a ceramic pause because I lost my studio facilities.
I'm
but
so
I'm hot on the trail of another studio, so I'm hoping to get making soon.
good.
So what are you looking at, reading about, thinking about right now that has you really excited in this like closed off time for a lot of people? And then, so I'm just kind of interested in what's got you excited right now that's new, and then also what has gotten you excited, and like what's your tried and true inspiration? Like did you go back and again in this person or this thing or whatever, never gets it.
So right now, I have a couple different things going on. I'm working in the studio, working on my oil paintings, and then I recently decided to start making large scale drawings, just using black ink. So these like pens. And the one I'm working on right now is 40 by 50, and it's going to take me a long time to finish. And I'm super excited about it because it is so different than my painting practice, which I think of as like super athletic, very performance oriented. I'll just kind of move this around. As you can see, my paintings are really big. Look at this one over here. They're large. And then and I have to stand, and I even have to stand on stools and things like that. Whereas the drawings are really meditative. I sit on a table with my cup of coffee and I work on them. So they're kind of activating two very different parts of my psyche. I'm reading this book called Descent of the Goddess, which is looking at the Sumerian myth about goddess Inanna and her descent into the underworld, where she meets her dark sister, Eshkigal, who kills Inanna, and it becomes this psychoanalytic thing that I'm very interested in. It's written by a psychologist. So I'm really interested in mythology and have been for a really long time, because the things that I end up making, whether they're drawings or paintings, the aesthetic of my work is really mythological, and even religious. This piece that I'm working on right now behind the easel, there's like a angel or Christ-like figure that has its arms up. So I feel like there's all this mythological and religious stuff stored in my body that after I make it, I then go research it, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Like, I don't do research before and then go make the work. I sort of make what I make, and then I sort of look at the aesthetic of what I'm doing, and then I'm like, I think I should look at this myth. There's some visual cues here that are really connected to this thing. So that's kind of how I'm working. I also have a pretty short attention span. I think that's pretty rare for an artist. So I have to have lots of little projects. So I have the drawing, the painting, the reading, and I even work on my sculptures, which are fabric based. So that's sort of what keeps me going, is just having 4 or 5 things going on at the same time.
I was wondering how did I put this here? If you see the work being a way to help you remember, to hold on to something, or if it's more of an illustration of what forgetting looks like. Like if you had to visualize this abstract idea of forgetting, what does that look like? And I don't know, maybe it's a combination of those two, but I just had that kind of thought about the mechanics of the paintings, I guess, if that makes sense.
I think this question is so poetic and beautiful. So it's like,
I was a little bit proud of myself when I wrote it. I was like, "Ooh, this is good."
yeah, no, it's a really special question. It's my favorite question. And I thought about it a lot when you sent it to me a few days ago. Well, the first thing I thought of when I read it is a memory.
Hmm.
So my response, the way that I'll answer your question is with this memory. So when the war in Bosnia started, I remember the day again, like through fog. I remember sirens wailing. My mom was at,
How old would you have been when this was happening?
I was 9.
9. Okay.
I was 9. Yeah. I remember that day my mom told me not to go to school because it was dangerous. I didn't know what that was, but we lived with my grandparents. My mom went to work. And I remember we just finished breakfast and I was helping my grandma do the dishes, and the sirens started wailing, and we looked outside the window and there were all these people running. And my grandparents and I, that was the day we fled. I remember my grandma just kind of grabbed a couple of things. I grabbed my doll, and we fled across the Sava River to Županja, which is a small town in Croatia. So the border, Bosnia, Croatia, I lived right on the border.
Mm.
Anyways, we didn't know where my mom was, and we weren't reunited with her for a couple of weeks. And it was getting really hard to, the borders were controlled by different people. And anyways, I remember it being a mess, but I remember being really sad because my mom wasn't with us. And I never had a dad in my life, so my mom was all I had. And I remember one day playing with the kids in Županja outside, and it was kind of a foggy day. And kind of like you were describing Rothko's son on the shoulder, I was playing and I was facing this way, and I felt a presence from behind me. And I turned around, and there was my mom emerging from this foggy mist. And I just saw her hair, and I knew her walk, and I knew it was my mom. And like my body just like just this joy and happiness. And I ran towards her. And I think that's what I'm trying to recreate every time I make a painting now. I think it's somehow rooted in my recognition of her and the sense of her from the back. Like I saw this partial figure where nothing was visible, but I almost like with my animal sense knew she was coming. So it's like a recognition. It's both memory and forgetting, but also seeing something emerge from fog or nothingness. And I think in my paintings, I'm really interested in having like a partial picture, almost like a disintegrating fresco painting, where you can kind of see certain parts more clearly while other parts are completely obscured. I'm really attracted to that. I find that very beautiful, where not everything is given to the viewer, where almost by looking at this partial image, your brain has to activate the fullness of it.
Okay, so the last question that I have, because this kind of comes from my professor role, the emotion question, because I find that with my students, like I'm really bad at the analytical side of it, but I feel like the way I connect with the students and help and can get anywhere in a place where I feel like I'm actually guiding them is through what they want their emotions to be. So, or what they want their piece, like, how do you want somebody to feel? Like not what you want it to look like, not what it's going to do, but like when it's in the room and the person sees it, like, what do you want them ideally to be feeling?
Yeah, well, I guess we're all selfish or self-centered in a way. So I think about what I like to feel when I look at work. So one of my favorite contemporary artists is Kathy Wilkes. She is a an Irish-British, I think born in Ireland, but currently living in the UK, sculptor, installation artist. She represented the UK at the last biennial, Venice Biennale. And anyways, when I saw her work, I just felt so vulnerable. Like I felt like I had so much empathy for the figures, and her colors are also really evoke empathy and vulnerability. Like they're really kind of like bleached out colors, almost like they've been in the sun for too long. So if one of her figures is wearing like a little pink shirt, it looks like it's been in the sun for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I like how her work makes me feel. It makes me feel like I want to take it and protect it, and it evokes a kind of tenderness in me as a viewer. It does not make me feel awe, which is a feeling I don't want in art. Like I know people love spectacles and they want to be, quote, wowed by art. I'm not very interested in that. What's that?
I said, especially these days. I just was reading an article about, what do they call it? Big fun art. Like
big fun art. Yeah, I guess in
like,
that sense, I'm kind of like serious. Like I don't want it to be too, yeah, I kind of want private feelings rather than big spectacular emotions, you know? So with my work, I hope that something similar is felt when they look at my paintings. And I feel like I got pretty close to that with my show at Conduit that's up right now. I mean, I see artists like Kathy Wilkes or Mark Manders who make work that's quieter, that's more introspective, and they're doing really well. So I want to hope that although everyone likes a spectacle, there is room for something quieter.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but I agree with you. It's not sexy to be vulnerable, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, it's interesting being in this like global pandemic where everyone is vulnerable right now, and everyone is, I wonder, I mean, you think about like what's going to come out of this moment. Is everyone going to make work that's like opiate for the masses, where everyone is distracting themselves? Or are we going to start appreciating work that is dealing with more of the pathos?
Keep up the good work in the studio.
Thank you.
I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, I really appreciated this conversation. Thank you.
Yeah, it was good. Thanks for going to the weird conspiracy side with me.
Anytime.
Okay. All right. I'm in meeting now. All right. Bye.
Bye.